Welcome to r/IDontWorkHereLady, where we share stories about folks that are mistaken for employees by irate customers. And the first story is, I didn't design your D-shirts, Karen. Tale from years ago, when I worked for a consulting firm. Sorry if the details are a little fuzzy. This was a long time ago. I'm also long-winded and sleep-deprived, so it's a rambling one. The office layout on my floor had 4 private offices that were for 4 different independent contractors. One specialized in graphic design, one in copywriting, one in media sales, and one in advertising campaigns. All of the assistants for these different specialists sat in one large room out front at our tiny desks. Each of us worked for only one of the consultants, but were happy to pass on basic information to the other ones. We, however, had no contact info or calendar access for anyone else's boss. I was sitting at my desk doing SEO work when Karen flung open the front door violently enough it actually banged against the wall. I was the closest to the door, so I jumped and looked over. Karen took this as a cue to storm over to my desk and throw down a CD. "Did you people make this?" she snarled. I pick up the CD and look at her. No idea WTF she was talking about. Was my brilliant reply. "Did you people make this?" "Oh, good. Volume was the only reason I didn't know what you were talking about. Thanks, Karen." Karen snatches the CD back from me. "We had these t-shirts designed by a graphic designer dude, and he gave us these files and the printer said they're all messed up. He ripped us off." Me. "Oh, so graphic design dude made this for you? Well, he's not here right now." Karen launches into a loud, profane tirade, questioning my ability, my education, my personal attractiveness, and parentage, which aren't the best, but has nothing to do with their stupid t-shirts. I finally pull out my mom/librarian voice. I am neither, but you know the voice I mean. Me. "Ma'am? Ma'am!" Surprising us both, Karen stopped talking. Me. "Ma'am, I do not work for Graphic Dude. Best I can do is give you a pen and paper to write him a note. But if you worked with him, you should have his email or phone. Email is the best way to get in touch with him." Karen. "When will he be back in the office?" Me. "No idea. I don't work for him. You'd best call or email him or leave a note." Karen. "Well, go in his office and check his calendar and tell me where he is." Me. "No, couldn't even if I wanted to. His office is shut and locked." Karen. "Well, unlock it." Me. "I don't have a key. We just work in the same building." Karen. "Call him and tell him I'm here and I need to speak with him." Me. "No, I don't have his number and I'm not his secretary." Not really true. I have his number, but heck no, I'm not playing receptionist. Karen. "I spend a ton of money with you and I demand..." Me. "Ma'am, you do not spend a ton of money with me. I don't work for Graphic Dude." Karen. Yeah, you don't do the computer stuff, you're just the secretary. Now get him on the phone." I took a second to figure out how me sitting in front of the computer and using it when she came in equals not doing the computer stuff, or how secretary equals no computers. But this wasn't the brightest tool in the box, and she was giving me a headache. So I went to my boss and asked her to dislodge the Karen barnacle from my life. My boss. "Ma'am, I'd be happy to give a message to Graphic Guy." Karen. "Where is he?" My boss. "I don't know. You can leave a message." Karen. "Are you the manager?" My boss. Yes?" She's a consultant. She's self-employed by her own company, so I guess she is her own manager. Technically mine too, but neither of us were sure what Karen was going for here. Karen. "Well, I want to speak to the owner." My boss. "Owner of what exactly?" Karen turns and points at me. "ISHU not. This woman snarls, 'That girl there.'" My boss and I are sharing a look. My boss says to Karen, very slowly, "You want to speak to her owner?" Karen nods emphatically. "I want her fired." Other guy in the office pipes up. "Don't you mean disowned?" My boss glares at him. My boss. "Ma'am, I am her boss and I'm not firing her, and we have nothing to do with Graphic Dude. We can't help you. Please leave and try to get in touch with him on your own." More shrieking. Karen is now questioning both my and my boss's work ethic, personal grooming, and voting preferences. My best guess is she got herself all worked up into a righteous indignation rage at the t-shirt issue before she came in, and she just transferred all that ire to me because I opposed her will. But her anger at me for not working for Graphic Dude is way out of proportion. Graphic Dude's assistant has walked into the office during all this, and being the accommodating soul he is, offers to look at the file. Karen stomps over and hands it to him, while he explains that Graphic Dude is out of town at a wedding and won't be back until Tuesday. Graphic Dude, by the way, does not do any work outside the office, which upsets Karen more. The file opens up. For Graphic Dude's assistant dude, it's some hideous summer family reunion t-shirt. Other dude looks at Karen. "So what's wrong with it?" Karen scowls. "The screen printer said the file is all messed up." Graphic dude's assistant dude looks confused. It's fine. Karen. No, it's not, she shrieks. Now, other guy is trying to explain that the file is fine, but she can get in touch with graphic dude next week. Not good enough for Karen. She keeps yelling, while assistant dude looks at the image more closely. Assistant dude. Oh, are you Mrs. Karen McBeeface? Karen. Yes. Assistant dude. Oh, okay, I can fix this for you. Karen smiled broadly, praised him in a sickeningly sweet good puppy manner, and saunters over to us to explain how she's going to get us all fired, and it's about time, blah blah blah. Assistant dude comes over and hands her a new disc and sends her on her merry way. My boss goes back to her office and shuts the door, telling me not to come get her if that harpy ever comes back in. I look at assistant dude who's grinning. Assistant dude is a college sophomore graphic dude grossly underpays to gain experience, and he gives no SHs. So I know something is up. Me. Okay, assistant dude, what did you do? Assistant dude. Come take a look. On his computer is the image Karen wanted on her t-shirts, open from the disc she brought in. Freaking Comic Sans McBeeface Family Reunion 20XX with a dumb picture. Okay. Assistant dude. And here's what I just saved on a new disc for her, and shows the same image, where he has replaced the text with B pay me and a middle finger graphic. Assistant dude is smiling. I remembered her name finally, he said. Graphic dude was peeved. She sold him this sob story about why she couldn't pay half up front like we normally do, and he made an exception. Then once she had the files, she refused to pay for it. Originally, we were going to get the shirts printed for her, but she stiffed us and took the file and ran. She figured she could just get them printed herself. I told graphic dude not to give her a print-ready file for approval, but he thought since we were going to handle the shirt order, yeah. I get it now. She likely went to the cheap local screen print shop that I happen to know doesn't have anywhere close to the latest version of any graphic programs. This comes up a lot in this office. If a customer uses that shop, the shop guy will try to open a file, save from the latest version of graphic software, and go, can't open it, go get it saved as an earlier version, and sends customer back. This Karen wasn't bright enough to remember anything past file no work, you bad. And of course, you're all probably quicker than me, and realized what it took a minute to dawn on me. Karen gave assistant dude her disc. He saved the new image on a new disc and gave it to her. She left the original file in our office. So unless she was smart enough to make a copy, she now no longer has the file she stiffed graphic design dude on. I'm sad to say that she never came back in. I hate a story with no follow-up, but such is life. Myself, I hope she got the shirts printed without anyone catching the file change. I brought assistant dude some banana bread I baked the next day to thank him for his efforts. The second story is, as I've told you before, I don't work here. I work for a non-profit organization. We own an office building and rent office spaces out to other non-profits at a very cheap rate. Though we currently have one for-profit tenant, the tax man. The offices have been a little crowded, as we have increased staff size this past year. So how the building is set up, everyone entering has to come directly through my office to get anywhere else in the building. Rather annoying for me, but oh well. It's rather obvious upon entering my office which organization I work for. I have signs and tons of paraphernalia pertaining to my organization. Well, the tax man is rarely in his office, as this is his secondary location. So typically when his client comes in and sees he's not there, they'll simply ask me to place a piece of paper on his desk for them or some other similar task. This one client of the tax man, entitled Cow, comes in rather often. But being the entitled cow she is, she speaks down to me and gives me many tasks to do. For example, she once came in, discovered the tax man wasn't in his office, and started rambling off to me. I need you to give this to the tax man. Tell him that I didn't know what to put in XX section, and I have another question about XX, so I need you to have him call me immediately. I politely respond, ma'am, I don't work for the tax man. I work for the non-profit organization which owns this building. But if you'd like to write down your notes for him, I would be happy to place the messages on his desk for you. What an incompetent employee you are, she stated as she stormed off. This began happening rather frequently, at least every other week. Each time I would remind her that I do not work for the tax man, and I would often note that I have no idea what she's talking about. Each time she would insult me and leave. The last time she came in, about 2 weeks ago, she walked right up to me and said, "What do you even do all day? Watch Netflix? Your job is boring." I politely as possible said, "No ma'am, I run a youth volunteer program, run a county-wide volunteer center, do all the accounting for the organization, serve as a property manager," and listed off my very extensive job description to her. She laughed and said, "Yeah, right. My daughter's about your age, and she just sits at a desk all day watching Netflix. You can tell your boss whatever you want, but I know you don't do anything." What an entitled cow, right? Well, today, about 30 minutes ago, guess who waltzes into my office? That's right, the oh-so-lovely entitled cow. I told her that the tax man is in, but he's currently meeting with someone else, and she could go knock to let him know she's there. She stared at me for a moment before finally leaving my office and walking back to the taxman's. 5 minutes later, she walked back into my office and said, "It sounds like he's meeting with somebody." "Yes, ma'am, that's what I just told you." "Well, I'm not knocking and letting him know I'm here. You're his receptionist, that's your job." "No, ma'am, I'm not his receptionist, and as I've told you many times before, I don't work for his company. You can either wait back there until his meeting is over, or you can knock and let him know you're here. Either way, it doesn't affect me." "Are you kidding me? I'm here for a meeting with him, which was supposed to start 5 minutes ago." I ignored her and she walked out, only to pop her head in 2 seconds later and say, "Seriously, I'm not knocking." I said, "Okay," and she walked back to his office to wait. It's a small building, and I can hear everything that happens in the hallways. So I can currently hear her sitting outside his office mumbling, "Seriously? Taxman, finish your meeting. You're supposed to meet with me. Frick your incompetent receptionist." Frick me, the incompetent receptionist of the taxman who just watches Netflix all day, right? And the last story is contractor valet, full service. Before we start, if you'd like your own tales to tell, go put on some high visibility workwear. It's amazing. The what/who you can be mistaken for, and the look it's a corporeal Google. Younger, stupider years ago, somewhere in Australia. This tale started about 8:15 a.m. one Tuesday morning. I know, because that was the time on his dashboard clock. A couple of minutes prior, I had been hit in the face by a weighty bunch of keys. Car keys, house keys, postbox keys, assortment of small, sharp, hurdy keys. Our team were putting up electrical signage at a business across the road from a meeting venue. The venue's front entrance was a good vantage point to see how the signage looked, so I went over to near the front doors, in the shade. I'd seen cars going past and parking in the venue's car park for the 40 minutes leading up to 8 a.m. The posters outside indicated a session, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Tail time. Round 8:15 a.m., a silver Lexus pulls up, blocking the porte cochere. French for if there was a valet, this is where they'd be standing. 30-something Keyman gets out, shuts the door, and starts jogging to the venue's doors. On his way past me, he does the flick, right out of the movies. Both the keys and my favorite tinted safety glasses are now on the ground. I look at them, then at the doors to see them closing. No sign of the failed stealth class ninja. Pick the keys up and heft them for a sec, then go open the passenger door to get this guy's name off his registration papers. I'm thinking I'll give the keys to venue's reception with his name and let them deal. This is where I see that his address is 5 minutes up the road from the supplier I still had to go to this morning. Dear eagle-eyed safety, insurance, litigation, police people, rest assured, I knew that afternoon and the weeks after that it was a stupid thing to do. My boss had me on trench digging duties after I told him, all because of the next 5 words. I drove his car home. To his home. I wasn't that stupid. I called an apprentice and gave the address to pick me up. After parking and locking his car on the front lawn, because my glasses were scratched, I had time before the apprentice showed up to put all his failed implements of death through his door mail slot one by one. Round 12 p.m., I stood myself at my fancy French valet, also French station, and waited. Keyman said loudly in a hurry while poking me in the back, "Grab my car, will you, mate? I'm in a hurry." I'm just looking at all the people walking to the car park. He pokes me again. Keyman, getting a bit SH they are, him and his pokey finger. "I'm in a hurry, come on." Me, as I turn to him, "It's not here, mate. Did you think I was a valet?" I take off the hard hat I've worn the whole day and show it to him. It has stickers. Confusion face for a sec as he checks out my sweet stickers, then looking up at me. Keyman, puzzled look but figuring it out. "Where is it?" Me, just matter of fact. "I took it to your place and put the keys through the door." "Keys in the face isn't nice, mate. Don't do that." I see him patting his pockets. I walk away putting my hard hat back on, saying over my shoulder, "Me, your phone's in the car, mate." Finn, more French. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.